Hey guys, how you doing? Happy Metroid weekend. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. For me, I just plan for the next day just to kind of sit around and just chill and enjoy the heck out of Metroid, and that's what I'm going to do tonight after I get done editing this video and stuff. But I'm somebody that goes back every, I would say, couple of years and goes back and plays some of my old games, and I just recently did that with Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo. Well, this is the Famicom cart, but little, TLDR. If you're looking for this, just get the Japanese one imported or something. It's like 35 bucks instead of like 80 for the US one. And it's got the English translation on here anyway, so have at it. It'll work fine. Unless you have an actual Super Nintendo, you have to just look how to mod it so it'll play Famicom games. You'll be fine. So I've been playing this game and just enjoying the heck out of it. I love the cover with like the little 7 ME robots that you gotta defeat throughout the game on there. But let's see. Let's start with my thoughts on it, and I'll try to like condense it down as much as I can. But starting off with just the presentation, the game is way better than I expected. Now, I never played Samus Returns on the 3DS. I didn't have a 3DS towards the end of life, and really, honestly, there's something about the 3DS I just never really liked that much as a game system. So I just kind of was like, in matter of fact, you can say that with the whole DS line. I was just kind of that way with the DS line. I know, sacrilege. But anyways, I love the Switch. So going into this, the presentation, the cutscenes, and all that stuff is really good. It picks up, it kind of tells you like a little backstory of what happened in Fusion. I can't believe it's been 19 years since I played that game. I was stationed in Iraq when I was playing Metroid Fusion. That's how long ago it was. Right at the beginning of our invasion into the Gulf. So what was that, like 2002, 2003, something like that? God, it's been such a long time. So this game catches you up on the events of the last game and then tells a story of how there is a seemingly leftover Parasite X on this planet called ZDR. You thought you killed all of them and they're extinct. They're a very dangerous menace. They are an organism that the Metroids were the natural predators for, but since they're all gone, this ZDR kind of thrived in the last game. Actually almost killed Samus, and it wasn't for some Metroid DNA that she got through like sort of like a vaccination, that she probably would have gotten killed from that thing as well. So that catches you up to where we are now. Now that they know that the ZDR is on the planet, they send robots, these Emmys that are supposed to be like really indestructible, to go investigate, and they just disappeared. So now the only person that can deal with this, that has an immunity to these X already, is Samus. So they send her on her quest. And the whole scene of like the ship just like zooming around and stuff, and the sound effects they use is like, it's like Star Wars quality. Now don't get me wrong, like the cinematics are not like Diablo 2 quality or something like that, but they are just like the sounds and everything. I just love it.
We'll soon be entering ZDR's atmosphere.
Clearly outweighs the reward.
So the opening cinematic really gives you like a good idea of like what happened to Samus and why did she lose her powers again, or they're just kind of gone. And it's like a pretty good explanation this time, and the way to explain it is just another beautiful cinematic. Like all the cinematics in this game just do a really good job of just making her seem badass and cool and able to handle any situation. The whole thing is just amazing. So as best as I can tell, once the scenes are over, it just kind of zooms out and goes into the side profile we're used to for the mainline Metroid games. And as best as I can tell, the graphics are kind of like the 3D drawn stuff by the Switch is kind of in the foreground, and in the background is sort of like that pre-rendered Donkey Kong Country stuff that you're used to seeing. But it doesn't look bad. It's very high res. They did a good job kind of like mixing it together with the foreground 3D done stuff. And it looks pretty sharp. You can definitely tell the game was kind of made to take advantage of that Switch OLED. Now, I don't have the Switch OLED. I wasn't able to find it, but I have my Switch docked, and it's docked to an LG OLED TV. And I can tell you, like, the contrast between the blacks and the lights and all that stuff and the color coming out of this thing is just super, super vibrant. It looks really, really good. So throughout this adventure, Adam, the AI from the last game, fusions with you, and now he's actually voiced, which is kind of cool. And he's got like this sort of like robotic voice, so you don't like have like human inflections and stuff. It's just very flat, very like vocalized, and he still calls you lady, just like he did in Fusion.
So you've accessed a network station. Well done, Samus. I have reviewed your vital signs and video log from the data you uploaded.
So he kind of goes around and tells you what's going on and gives you new information as you need it and stuff like that. And so as you're going through the world, he's kind of constantly like updating you or giving you clues to where you need to go next. So right at the beginning of the game, they give you your first Emmy that you face, and you can tell it's been damaged and it's had some problems and stuff like that. And really honestly, the first Emmy's kind of a pushover. It's just sort of like a sampling to tell you what or like inform you what's going to be happening in the rest of the game with the Emmy robots. But you get an idea of like what happens is every time that they show up, there's like a certain area of the map where they kind of close off exits, and then there's like these special exits that have like this sort of like cube shaped thing going on, similar to like the way Adam looks when he's talking to you. And it seems like those doors are like the hard cutoff for the Emmy. They can't go through that. You're safe once you go past that. And another way to denote that you're kind of Emmy zone is they have this like film grain kind of look filter that goes on. So when you go into like an Emmy zone, it's like immediately like everything looks different. It's got like this very like film grain kind of like almost like spooky like horror movie kind of filter vibe going on. It's kind of cool actually. And so when the Emmy's hunting you or it's in the area, that kind of pops up just to kind of like let you know. And so there's one weapon in the game, I'm not going to spoil too much, that is the only thing that can dispense to the Emmys, and you have to go find it. So it's a charged weapon. It's pretty much like a one-time use for that one Emmy to destroy it. And once that Emmy's destroyed, then like certain doors that were like locked and things like that that the Emmy had shut down in that area will open back up and let you go out from there and explore a little bit more. So where previous Metroid games have kind of had this, just like you explore the entire map, there's a couple of boss battles and stuff, and then you move on about your way. This one is very much you explore up to a point, and Emmy kind of has like a certain area blocked off. You might be able to explore past that a little bit here and there by like sliding into vents and stuff like that. But for the most part, you're going to have to destroy the Emmy to move on beyond that point. And so there are still alien battles in this. I fought the first one. and that seems to be where you gain some extra abilities, but I also seemed like I was gaining some extra abilities from Namis. So it seems like boss battles are like a way to gain abilities. I did run into a Chozo statue to gain my charge beam ability so far. And I almost thought like I was going to use the D-pad to control Samus. And so when I started pressing on the D-pad instinctively to control Samus, I was just like, huh. So I used the analog stick, and my initial impression was like, that sucks. I want to use the D-pad. So instead, the only thing the D-pad does is when you press right, it brings up sort of like an expanded version of your map in the corner, so you don't have to like always hit start to see the full map and zoom it in and out. So if you just need to see like the surrounding area real quick, you can just hit that, blows up. Makes it super quick. It's like one of those like little streamlined things I like a whole lot about this game. But as far as like the analog stick thing, that has more to do with like the free aiming throughout the game. So when you stop, you can aim in any direction and stuff like that. And it seems like there's a couple weapons that's going to come in real handy with that. In the case of like the super powerful weapon that helps destroy the enemies when you press it down, it actually changes the entire perspective of the room a little bit. So like everything kind of like goes like catty corner a little bit, so you can like see down the hallway a little bit when you're aiming. So so far, like some of the tricks that they're using by the game being in 3D is pretty cool with that. But she definitely moves like wall jumping super easy. It's not like Super Metroid. You can do it like right off the bat. But one thing that was just for me off-putting, because I just gotten done playing Super Metroid. Just because I gotten done playing Super Metroid, jump and fire are A and X on the far end. I don't know why they did that in the original, but and I can't really complain or I should say Super Metroid, is because Super Metroid didn't really give you an option to change anything else, and it also had the kind of like lock and aim, but it was much more like corner up, corner. You know, there wasn't like any kind of like degree of granularity in between. But I would have liked to have the option to change my button presses. So it looks like when you go into controls, it just basically to inform you what your controls are. It doesn't give you any option to change it whatsoever. And because I have that muscle memory of like jumping and shooting with A and X, I would have liked to have been able to switch that over. But I think it's something I'll get used to. It's fine. Some other things felt a little weird, like your slide is on the ZL, and I would rather have it like on a ZR for whatever reason. It just seems more natural like that. So there's a couple things here and there. Now you can still switch it, because the Nintendo Switch does custom button mapping, but you have to do it at the system level to get stuff to flip around the way that you want to. So that is one like little thing there, that just because the Switch has it built in at the system level, there's really no such thing as any game that can't be mapped the way you want it to be mapped. They did bring back the parry system that I saw from Samus Returns. I didn't know how I was going to feel about it, but once you get the hang of it, it's really cool. And like Samus does like some really cool poses and stuff after that for like the cloud, or for like the fatal shot that she does to the enemies and stuff like that. So it's kind of a neat system. I think overall it kind of speeds up the game a little bit, and the game just overall has been sped up much more from those original releases of Metroid Fusion, Super Metroid, and stuff like that. And finally, I did try amiibos. I have these amiibos right here. So I have the Samus one from Smash Brothers, facing the wrong way, and Shadow Samus that came out with the most recent Smash Brothers. I think this is for the one on Wii, and this one's on the Switch. So anyways, these actually do work. So when you scan it in, you get like your life powered up or extra missiles when you scan in the Shadow one. And I'm assuming the ones that came out the same day with the Switch have some other kind of functionality too, or I should say with Metroid Dread. I'm probably going to be trying to pick those up, but I think I'm going to get them from Japan because I just cannot find them anywhere here. They look cool as hell though. Alright, so that's my first thoughts on the game so far. I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to get back to it, but I need to make this content for you guys and let you guys know that the game's really good. And if you haven't played a Metroid game before, maybe consider it, especially if you've played games like Hollow Knight, Ori and the Blind Forest, and you really enjoy those games. I think you're really going to enjoy Metroid. I think even like those games like Ori and Hollow Knight, like kind of borrow more from like Super Metroid than they do from like the current Metroids. I think the movement is a lot better in this. It's a lot faster. And you do get like that kind of like, you know, like overwhelming feeling sometimes of like, oh man, I'm being chased by this thing that can't kill me. But once you like get some time in and get used to the controls and stuff, the game just kind of glides. It's just got this like momentum and this just kind of like smooth glide to it through the whole thing. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, and I think you guys would too if you give it a shot. So see you guys in the next video. More stuff coming up pretty soon. Some strange stuff here and there. I shot a video the other day where it was more about my drone than anything video game related, but I think that stuff is important to share too, so I thought I'd go ahead and do that. So anyways, guys, see you in the next video.